What's good? What's good? It's the one, the only, but what do I know? Boxing coming back at you with another one, man. All right, man. So on this video right here, man, we're gonna talk about a little bit about the performance between Terence Crawford and David Evanesian. Not that there's really much to really talk about. What's understood a lot of times does not have to be explained, but I understand that there's a lot of casuals in boxing, so we'll break down the fight a little bit. But most importantly, I definitely want to talk about what's next for Terence Bud Crawford. So before we get into it, let's go ahead and give my mans a good formal introduction. All right.
He weighed in at an official 146 and 1/2 pounds. Started from the bottom tonight. He enters the BLK Prime Ring, universally recognized as the pound-for-pound king, with an undefeated professional record of 38 victories, 29 of those victories coming by way of KO. The former lightweight world champion, former undisputed super lightweight world champion, and tonight defending his WBO welterweight championship of the world. Born, bred, and repping Omaha, Nebraska.
All right, so obviously, you know, with the fight against David Evanesian, I mean, a lot of people were saying, well, if Terence Crawford fights Errol Spence like that, he's getting stopped, because Terence Crawford was fighting David Evanesian on the inside. He didn't even really need to use distance, or Terence Crawford just had full control over that fight, right? But you guys got to remember, different styles make different fights, okay? It's no way in the world Terence Crawford will fight Errol Spence like in the same way that he fought David Evanesian. You guys have to realize that in different fighters, you fight different ways. Some fighters bring out different things in you, some fighters don't. You just fight different styles, a different fight for different styles. So for the guys that are saying, oh man, Terence Crawford was getting touched up, man, he's gonna get destroyed by Errol Spence. Yo, listen, take a breather, chill, and sit down, relax, all right? I guarantee you, whether he gets touched up or not by Errol Spence, he's not gonna fight Errol Spence the same way he fought David Evanesian. Hell, I'm sure that he's not even gonna prepare for Errol Spence the way he prepared for David Evanesian, okay? So it's two different fighters, two different styles, two different fights. Man, all right, so just cut the crap. Now, listen, of course, everybody knows that I am a huge Errol Spence man down. Errol, the true Spence fan, all day, every day. But I'm not gonna sit here and just give y'all no BS and act like that Terence Crawford is gonna be the same Terence Crawford that shows up if or when he fights Errol Spence, okay? Now, yes, was Terence Crawford getting touched up? Yes, Terence Crawford, he gets touched up in all his fights. I don't even understand how that's something shocking to people. I mean, it's no knock on Terence Crawford, but Terence Crawford gets flushed coming out of exchanges a lot. In every single fight, especially since the Gamboa fight, I've noticed that, okay? And for you Johnny come latelys, listen, I've been a Terence Crawford fan, I've been a Terence Crawford fan since Terence Crawford fought Bradis Prescott. I even remember Terence Crawford back when he had dreads. A lot of y'all don't even remember Terence Crawford back then. All right, I know the backstory. If it, you know, I've always been a huge Terence Crawford fan, bro. All right, now of course I like Errol Spence. I think I'm more of an Errol Spence fan, but I mean I love them both, bro. So listen, regardless, man, let's let both fighters be good, be great in their own path. But listen, obviously next we want the Errol Spence fight. All right, that's obvious, okay? But with a lot of things going on, and you know, we can't blame Bob Arum in this situation now, because what has been a big hindrance in the fight happening before was the whole fact that, you know, Terence Crawford was with Top Rank, all right? Terence Crawford is no longer with Top Rank, he's his own man, but it's still something standing in the way from this fight. So at this particular time, can we really just put all the blame on Terence Crawford? No, we heard Terence Crawford's side of the story, but you know, it's always three sides to a story. We haven't heard Errol speak on it. I don't even know what Errol is doing next. But listen, you know, from what Terence Crawford saying, he tried to make the fight. He even had wanted them to do, you know, like it was something like they had like a $25 million each. I don't know. All right, listen, I don't even like to get into that because it's very, very It's just very mind-boggling. It's irritating, all right? But obviously that's the fight that we want next. Now, I honestly can't tell you what hoops and obstacles we have to go through to get that fight because I don't know exactly what is preventing that fight on Errol Spence's side. Obviously, Al Haymon, I remember him saying something like Al Haymon said he doesn't want anybody else touching this fight. But my whole thing is, if you don't want anybody else touching this fight, then why are you not hopping on this fight, bro? Like, I'm not understanding that. Again, I'm not gonna put the full blame on Errol Spence, but at the same time, it's like, bro, I don't know what's preventing that fight at this point because we don't have the full disclosure from Errol Spence. So I don't know the obstacles that we have to go through to get that fight. So hopefully that fight, listen, man, that's the most important fight in boxing right now, to me, in my eyes. That's the biggest, the most important fight in boxing right now. Hopefully we can get this fight. I wish I could tell you more on what's preventing this fight and what we could do to get closer to this fight, but I can't. And that's all I know. I don't know what Errol Spence is doing. It's rumored that he's going to fight Keith Thurman. I don't know. Hopefully we get this fight next year, though, man. Because I can honestly say if we don't get this fight in 2023, I promise you we're not going to get this fight. And if we do, it's definitely not going to be as significant as it is right now, okay? Next up, we definitely have, I know for a fact we would all love to see Terence Crawford versus Jerron Boots Ennis. Obviously, that's a fight that, listen, I would pay to see that fight. That's a fight that a lot of people would like to see. And that fight is highly possible. Jerron Boots Ennis is ranked high in every sanctioning in the welterweight division. In the WBO, Jerron is ranked number 2. At the IBF, Jerron is ranked number 1. At the WBA, Jerron is ranked number 2, and I want to say at the WBC, Jerron is ranked number 3 or 4. I think number 3. What belt did? Yeah, I think he's ranked number 3. Anyway, it goes. Listen, Jerron Boots Ennis versus Terence Bud Crawford would be a great fight. It would definitely be a fight worth paying for, especially if you're trying to put on, if you try to make us pay for Terence Crawford versus David Avanesian, okay? So Jerron Ennis is highly ranked in all sanctioning bodies at the welterweight division. I definitely feel like that's a fight possible if Terence Crawford is not trying to make his fight with Errol Spence. A lot of times guys don't know the business of boxing. A lot of times when you have a significant fight on the rise where you have just possibly life-changing money coming in and everything's on the line, a lot of times these fighters won't fight a risky fight like Jerron Boots Ennis. And whether people want to admit it or not, Jerron Boots Ennis is definitely a risky fight for either Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. So a lot of times these guys won't fight a Jerron Boots Ennis, not at this moment, because they don't need anything of getting in the way of what could be life-changing, record-breaking numbers. Now, I don't think Terence Crawford and Errol Spence is going to be record-breaking, but however, I definitely think it's going to be life-changing money for both guys. So I don't think that they will fight. I don't think that Terence Crawford is going to fight Jerron Boots Ennis if he's still looking to make the Errol Spence fight now. Now, if that Errol Spence fight is not going to happen, then it probably won't be fighting. It's possible that he would fight Virgil Ortiz, who's actually ranked number 1 at the WBO, or Jerron Boots Ennis. Which brings up to my next fighter, Terence Crawford versus Virgil Ortiz. Now, I think that's definitely more possible. I think Terence Crawford has an easier time with Virgil Ortiz, much easier than he would with the Jerron Boots Ennis. Virgil Ortiz, I think he's 18-0 with 18 knockouts, all wins by knockouts, but still very green. Hasn't really hasn't fought anybody on the level of Terence Crawford. And Virgil Ortiz is another one that's highly ranked in, I think, all sectioning. I think he's number 1 with the WBA, number 2 with the WBC. I don't know what he is with the IBF, number 3 or 4, and the WBO he's number 1. So that's another great fight for Terence Crawford. And you know, it's a fight you know, you got the Mexican versus black, you know, that they always do good numbers when you put them together. So, I mean, it's another great fight, but I think Terence Crawford has a much easier time fighting Vergil Ortiz. Plus, Vergil Ortiz is ranked #1 in his sanctioning for his belt, so, you know, it'll be more justified. You know, and then obviously you got Keith Thurman. I think they're trying to pit Keith Thurman against Errol Spence, which is more likely because both fighters are with the PBC. It just seems like an easier fight to make on the PBC side. Should Errol Spence not fight Keith Thurman, should Errol Spence not fight Terence Crawford next, I'm pretty sure that the fight with Keith Thurman will be made, even though Errol Spence said he doesn't want to fight Keith Thurman. So, listen, man, ultimately, man, we want Terence Crawford is a great fighter, man, a Hall of Fame for sure. You know, if he retires now, he's going straight first ballot Hall of Fame. I love Terence Crawford, but we all want Terence Crawford for Errol Spence, man. Let me know, who do you want to see Terence Crawford fight, I'm sorry. Like, comment, subscribe. But what do I know?